In your opinion, how has the field of communications basically been turned upside down in recent years, mainly due to the rise of social media?
Great question. Well, I think it's good news for those of us who work in the field. I think it's created a whole new avenue for our skills and interests and abilities. And that is to say, in traditional PR, by and large, our role was to work, as you know, through mass media. Now we have a second tool, if you will, that we can and do use, and that is to go to communicate directly with our audiences. So, as I've said in class too many times, we are publicists and publishers. An exciting time for you and me and for all of us to rediscover our voice and to use that voice to tell stories customized for specific audiences on behalf of our organizations. And also to use the new technologies to listen, which is, as we've often preached in this field, has been an essential part of our business, but too often forgotten. And I think now new technologies are really putting listening and engagement and community back front and center where they belong.
Excellent. And using, these concepts of publishers becoming, or we're all publishers, we're all publicists, and listening and communicating through technology channels, how has that evolution affected public relations students of today and how they learn about public relations?
Well, good question. I don't know really, but I hope that one of the effects on students has been that it has given students more avenues to use their talent and their skills and their interest. I also hope and believe that it's also told students that they can be themselves. They can use their human voice on behalf of their organizations, as opposed to, as the authors of Clue Train Manifesto would say, as opposed to feeling like they have to adopt some kind of annual report voice or some kind of answering machine disembodied voice, which I think for too long has been the presumption in our field. And now, as they would say, some of us, and hopefully our students, are learning to rediscover that voice.
And we know that social media has and is transforming the media industry, but what forms of traditional media do you think will still be relevant for years to come in the future?
I think that social media and traditional media feed off one another. I think that they're not distinct, they're very much synergistic. So studies have shown that people who are active consumers of Twitter, for example, are more active consumers of traditional media, since they learn so many and find links to so many traditional media outlets in the course of using Twitter. So I think there's a real synergy between the two. I think the real high value adding traditional media outlets will continue to be valuable. Some would argue that a traditional media placement, such as an article in the New York Times today, is more impactful than it was 5 years ago, because it is going to be so widely distributed via social media and forever found via search. So whereas, when I was starting out, that article in the New York Times essentially had a shelf life of one day, absent the clip report, today that article is not only going to be consumed by its subscribers, but will be shared by people on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn, etc., and then again will forever be found via search.